DVAP-based includes compensation reports that make use of the statistical test called multiple linear regression. Well, that's a mouthful, so what does it mean? Well, multiple linear regression, or what we'll just call regression, is used to look at one or more data fields, in regression they're called independent variables, to see if they are related to one specific field called the dependent variable. In compensation analysis in DVAP-base, the dependent variable we look at is pay, and the independent variables that we want to check to see if they are related to pay are usually employee's race or gender, and a number of other attributes about the employee, such as how long they've been employed in the company, or what was their last performance review, how many years of prior experience they have, and so forth. These variables can be any numeric measurement. Regression analysis does a number of complex calculations that basically draws a graph and plots pay on one axis and all of the independent variables on other axes. It then produces a formula that allows you to determine what a person's pay is likely to be given the employee's values for the independent variables. Well, what good is that? We already have the pay information for all the employees. We don't need to try to figure out their pay by looking at their years of experience or performance or education or anything else. That's true. But another byproduct of the regression analysis is a measurement that indicates how much correlation there is between each independent variable and pay. Correlation means just what it sounds like, an observable relationship between two things. In the case of analyzing pay, we can see how closely correlated the independent variables are with pay when, and this is important, all of the variables are considered at the same time. That's the multiple in multiple linear regression, simultaneously evaluating multiple variables compared to one dependent variable. If a variable is very highly correlated with pay, it's possible that the variable is determining the pay of the employees being analyzed. For example, the regression might reveal that as employees' years of service increases, their pay increases. That's a positive correlation. We might also find out that being female is related to lower pay. That's a negative correlation. The regression measurement of how closely correlated each independent variable is to the dependent variable is called the t-stat, or test statistic. If an independent variable shows a t-stat of 2 or higher, that indicates a statistically significant positive correlation between the variable and pay. We can't say that that variable is causing pay to be higher, but it certainly points in that direction. On the other hand, if an independent variable shows a t-stat of -2 or lower, then that indicates a statistically significant negative correlation between the variable and pay. Depending on a company's pay policies, we might not be surprised to see a statistically significant positive correlation between pay and things like performance, years of education, years in the job, and so forth. But if we find a statistically significant negative correlation between pay and being female, or being Hispanic, for example, then there is concern that pay discrimination might be taking place. Just seeing a statistically significant negative correlation for females, however, does not automatically indicate a problem. If other independent variables are also highly correlated with pay, then the negative correlation for females might be coincidental. For example, if the regression shows that being female is negatively correlated with pay and months in the job is positively correlated with pay, then we want to look at the months of service for the employees alongside their gender. If we see that almost all of the female employees are recent hires and almost all of the male employees have been in the job a long time, then months of service might be the real variable influencing pay and not employee gender. Now, if we are looking at all of the fields that the company claims are used to determine employee pay, and the regression analysis finds no significant positive correlation between those variables and pay, but it does find a significant negative correlation between being female and pay, then there may be a cause for concern. A closer examination of the employees, the manager's process for setting salaries, and other factors that are causing the unwanted pay discrepancy is in order.